What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of my Gran Turismo 02 Hero Racing series. And today we are driving on the Temple of Speed, or otherwise known as MONZA in Italia. And we're going to be driving the Lexus RCF race car, GR3 or GR4. I forget which group we're driving. I think it's GR3. Could be wrong. Anyways, yeah, so we're going to pick the Lexus RCF. And as we drive on the course, driving the Lexus kind of gave me a little bit of a withdrawal, is like the best way to say it. I kind of regret getting rid of my SC. Ha 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 ha. I absolutely regret it. I wish I turned it into a time attack car. If you follow me on Instagram, at LucasSC400, it's still that because I'm a pleb and I am missing my car. I still wish I built that. I'll show you a picture of a car I saw on Google here. But I really wish I turned my car into a time attack car because the way it was going, it was rusty already, but I could have fixed a lot of stuff. And I could have just made everything lighter, and even with the quarter panels being destroyed, I could have cut them up, got fiberglass over panels, over fenders, and I could have ran. It would have obviously been in an ultimate class, like full race cars pretty much, which would have made me struggle for a while, but I could have got over it and I could have raced them. It would have been fun. I could have used my 2JZ because that's what I'm planning on putting in my Supra anyways, but yeah, like I really am regretting it. It's kind of something I have to slowly get over. It's almost like a really bad ex-girlfriend. Like you kind of can't get over your ex, and I feel like the Supra is almost like a rebound. That's how weird I feel right now. Yeah, it's kind of an awkward situation, but I kind of have to get over it. Maybe if I get a shop one day or soon, I'll buy a shitty or a real beat up SC400, pull that out, tear it apart, do what I want to do, put a fuel cell in the trunk like I was going to, make it a tube front, maybe even a tube rear if I can, and build an actual race car out of it. It's unfortunate that I didn't do it. I really wish I did, because after watching, like I said, the Street Bandito stuff, I really had a lot of ideas what I could have done with that car, and especially with what they did with their car. I feel like I could have made that car real light, not as light as their 240, because that car is just ridiculous, but yeah. Anyways, that was my qualifying lap, and after that I realized that the Bugatti was the fastest car on the track. It was the fastest one, but I really could not get a hang of it, and just like last time with the Porsche, I even get a penalty there. I decided that I felt really comfortable with the Lexus, and honestly I've never driven the Lexus, so I was like, you know what, we're just going to drive the Lexus this race, and we'll see how it goes. So this is the first race, and because I had such I would say a slow qualifying time. It was only about 4 seconds off the top in the world, again in my continent, or yeah, top in my region, but I was 4 seconds off, but that really screwed me. I was kind of wasn't really fast enough to get a really good qualifying position, but we end up starting in 10th, but we end up in the first corner. We try to go as offensive as we can, go on the inside to get around the Viper, and I cut that corner quite a bit, and for some reason I do not get a penalty, which kind of shocked me as I was driving, but I didn't get a penalty, so I'm not going to worry about it. Also, this red and black Bugatti was driving very aggressive towards me and trying to like almost push me off course for some reason, even though he wanted to go on the inside after, and he just got real annoying. He starts lagging around everywhere, which kind of got real annoying as well, and I think everybody else lags like crazy too. Yeah, there's a huge lag spike. I don't know why. I have 3 bars, like 3 green bars or 4 green bars. I know there's like one more up above that, but I don't feel like I should be getting lagged out like that. But anyways, we're gonna move on. There's another huge lag spike, which kind of goes a little crazy. And as we come in through the straight here and dive into the corner, everybody comes back in, and it kind of threw me off. And that's why I kind of go off course just a little bit. But we do end up losing that Bugatti. He goes crazy far away. The Ferrari gets a penalty and gets screwed because that's the penalty zone there. And we get lucky, so we don't have to worry about that guy in the Ferrari anymore, of him coming down the inside at the big brake zone over here. So yeah, that was pretty much it. This track was a lot of fun. You have to really pay attention on this track, or else you're gonna be screwed. And also, like I said in the last episode about Monza, this was an absolute power track, and if you are not in the slipstream, like trying to compete with everybody, they will leave you in the dust. Like, you're long gone. as we come into the final corner or long sweeper, we're right behind everybody here. And for some strange reason, if you look over here, the Brazilian in the Peugeot goes, yeah, I'm done with this race. I'm just going to take a nap in the pits for some reason. I don't understand why. Like, I remember when I was driving, it kind of took me a whole second to understand what he was doing. And, you know, super fast mode, ah! If you get that joke, or if you get that reference, I love you. Because that is an old Modern Warfare 2 post commentator who did that stuff. I think it was Only Use Me Blade, I think. But that's an old reference. But anyways, as we fast mode out of there, we're up right behind the guy in 6th, the Green Viper, who honestly I had an amazing race with. Me and him drove against each other very, very well. We raced each other very hard, but we didn't hit each other, and we just tried to stay as close as we could together. The one issue this guy in the Viper had was he drove just a little bit too defensive, and I think that's what screwed him. Or, I'm not sure, but when we get onto the actual parts where I think he screwed up, we'll see. And as you can see, he gets the inside, but I stay on the outside so I can get somewhat of an undercut, because as he's on the inside, he has to be more, frugal with the throttle, because if he goes too much, he might spin out, or the traction control is going to kill him with that. So I want on the outside so I can turn in a little bit more and go full throttle, and that's why I'm able to catch up so fast to him, even though I think the Viper has more power than the Lexus. And as I come into the main braking zone, I should have probably went in front of him because I had a lot of room, but I didn't want to hit him, and I didn't want to like ruin my race and his race at the same time. But so he ends up taking the inside, and I get right beside him. So he's coming to the corner, the second big braking zone where basically everyone dies on first laps in Forza, but this game not as much. Like I said, he goes very, very defensive, and the last second he pulls over to the right just enough to give him basically just about a car's width, and he does screw up just a little bit, and he gets, I believe, a penalty because of that. I don't know if I look back, but I do end up passing him. I end up passing him because of that, and we're going to try to run away with this as fast as we can. That was the main thing, but if he didn't get a penalty, I think he would have caught up to me because we still had one more lap, and we still had the main two straight still, where he would have got the slipstream and everything. Does he not get a penalty? I think it's a penalty over here. But I was really focused on him being right behind me, and I know he's going to be abusing my slipstream since he was so close to me. And coming into the S's, I downshift a little bit too much into second. I really should have kept it in third, and I'm off the line completely. You're supposed to be riding the curbs like crazy, or else that kind of screws off your line, and he does end up getting a penalty there in the S's, I believe. That's why. And with that, he ends up getting a penalty, and since everyone else was so far ahead, that was the end of the race, and that was the end of the lap, or that was the end of the first race there. I do end up moving up 4 positions. I do get whatever. And yeah, basically the guy was just giving me a hey, thanks, GG, good game, man. And I was like, yeah, man, good to you too. I really appreciate it. We'll race again sometimes. This race, we start in 12th. And like I said, my qualifying time was very, very poor, so that's why I'm starting so far back from the other people. And with this, we just kind of have to ride out the wave with the slipstream. Just absolutely abuse at the slipstream as much as I can. Behind the blue, I believe it's a Huracan. Behind the blue Huracan, we're trying to abuse as much of the slipstream as I can. And we're going to get the inside of the first corner. And honestly, no one died. No one killed each other. I broke a little bit too much, but it's okay. Clearly something went on here. I don't know what happened. Someone must have hit somebody, or maybe they spun out. I'm not sure. But there was a pink car, which I have no idea what it was, who reset, so I guess he might have died. And the white Bugatti, or the white, and red Bugatti went off course and had to jump back in. Thank God he was ghosted out, or else he would have killed somebody. And as we come into the second big braking zone, I try to stay as conservative as I can and try not to get hit. And I got nailed by, I think it's a black Viper. And coming back on, I didn't want to get a penalty, so that's why I stayed so much on the inside. And thank God I didn't. I kind of cut him off, but I don't really care because he was nailing me for no reason. He was driving way more aggressive than I felt he should, but we're going to forget about him. I accidentally pushed off that blue Huracan because I didn't see him. I wasn't paying attention to my radar, and I do want to push him, but we're okay. We make the corner there quite convincingly, and as we come down the straight, right before the big braking zone, before the S's, we passed, I think, 2 guys who ended up getting a penalty, or at least I believe they got a penalty for how slow they were going. We're going to be past the green Viper, and we come into the big braking zone, and the Viper throws himself off. The blue Lamborghini actually pushes the Viper off course, and then an orange Audi throws me into the grass, and for some reason I hit the gas way too much, and that ends up spinning me out because my tires were dirty, and with the wheel spin coming onto the gravel or onto the pavement, it throws me off course. And unfortunately that was kind of how the race went, but I was able to just put my head down and catch up to these guys. And not for anything, in a race on Monza with me spinning out and it being a power course and people having to just abuse slipstream, there's no way in hell I should have been able to catch up to this pack. There's just no chance that should have been possible whatsoever. So I was kind of weird, but I ended up catching them, so that shows how slow they were and how consistent I tried to be to catch these guys. Now the Viper does have a half-second penalty and is still being quite aggressive, but not too bad in that corner. He was pretty lenient about that, and at this point we have to worry about him because he's not going to be able to pass this here, and he has to serve his 5-second or half-second penalty. And this is where I made a big mistake. I thought they were going to be ghosted out for longer, and the last second the Aston Martin or whatever it was ghost back in, or unghosts, and I get a 4-second penalty for nailing him, of course, which I guess was completely my fault for doing so, because I should have been paying more attention and not have tried to go for that. And after that I was kind of flustered and I make a big mistake, and for the second time this race I go into the wall in the same spot and then onto the other side of the barrier. And with that, that was the end of my race. That's pretty much all that happened. Nothing else went on because it was there to the last corner, but I didn't want to bore you guys with the last corner there. And now we enter the last race of the episode, the third and last race. And this race is a little bit interesting. So we're going to start off in 12th place once again, right behind the very awkwardly colored RCF. I really enjoy bright in-your-face color combos, but this, like, the two colors here are nice together, but just the design is kind of ugly, so I don't know what he was thinking, but yeah, get a different vinyl on your car because it's pretty bad. And we're going to go real aggressive into the first corner. The guy in the very ugly RCF throws himself off course. I don't know how he did that, but I guess he got a little bit too aggressive, broke a little bit too late, and died. Excuse me there. We're going to stay right behind the red and white Viper, and as we have a guy right up our butt coming into the second big break, or this is the second corner, I'm not sure, maybe it's the third, because I guess the chicane is 2 turns technically. So we're coming into the third corner of the race, braking nice and late right beside the red Viper, but we get a little bit of a lag spike and the orange Audi ends up pushing us a little bit off course and takes that position, which is fine. We're gonna get back it back from this. The first lap of the race, there's a lot of time. We're gonna get back to this guy. And I believe the Viper ends up getting a small penalty here, and we're gonna pass him here in the main straight. That Audi broke way too much, and I almost nailed him, and it threw me a little bit off course. But we were fine. We did not hitting him. We have to pass now this Viper, and after the last race of the guy ghosted out and me nailing him, I did not want to chance it again, so I went around him even though he was ghosted out. So yeah, I was kind of nervous about that. Also, we do end up passing a Bugatti who I'm assuming had to serve a penalty as well. Now we're going to get nice and aggressive on the curbs here and stay right behind this Bugatti who for some reason goes off course there, which doesn't make any sense. Also helps us out because that slows him down, and we're going to be right behind him because of that. Coming into the final corner, we're going to just sit in the slipstream of these guys, and the Audi I believe has a half-second or 1-second penalty, but we're going to skip ahead just because nothing really happened. All that happened was the Audi pushed me out of the way, but he ended up serving his penalty, so we're right there. The Bugatti brakes a little bit too much and ends up making me nail him in the back, and I get, I believe, a 4-second penalty. What is it there? Yeah, I end up getting a 4-second penalty, which screws me. But I serve the penalty, and I still have my 8th position, which is pretty awesome. And on the final lap, there's a possibility of getting 6th place here. So if you watch the two guys in front, the blue one absolutely murders the guy in the orange. Oh, never mind. The orange car murders the blue Bugatti for some reason and throws him off course. I believe he gets a 4-second penalty because of that, and that ruins his race. So that means we have a very, very high probability of getting 6th place in this race from starting in 12th. So that's a 6th position jump, which is pretty good. especially for a driver rating. That's helping us a lot. And between these races, I was getting decent SR as well, so our SR is staying nice and up with that S rating. So hopefully we can get up soon, but we didn't even have to wait for the penalty zone, because he goes off course and throws himself out. And in that position again, I was scared that he was going to go back in, so I made sure to stay away from him. And that's why I was a little bit hesitant going off throttle where I did. But as we come down the straight into the chicane, we're going to skip ahead, and that was pretty much the end of the race. Nothing else happened. We couldn't catch up to the guys ahead. The main reason I was worried was I just didn't want to get a DNF from being too far away, so that kind of worked out. And as you can see, we got up to 6 positions, which was pretty awesome, like I said. And with the end of that race, this is the end of the episode. I'm really enjoying the game. We're playing really well. I'm going to try not to cry too much about my SC400. I promise, guys. But yeah, with that, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.